Disclaimer: all comments are now monitored and approved due to ongoing legal action on some comments made. This video is not for everyone and contains swearing, not suitable for children. Have a happy holidays.
Hi everyone, first of all, very Merry Christmas to you watching. Thank you for watching from all over the world, we greatly appreciate it. And thank you for reading the disclaimer as it just was announced a minute ago before the video started. Right, get sat down guys, get settled in. This video, I'm not sure how long it's going to be, but we're going to go through the in-depth information today that we've received from a subscriber to the channel, and we're going to give you some positive reinforcement, shall we say, on the views of people. So if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. It's totally free of charge, doesn't cost you a penny at all, and we're here for you guys pretty much all the time. So let's get sat down and let's go, guys. So right then guys, hello, welcome back, and thank you for being here today, and thank you for listening to what we're about to say. We appreciate all the new subscribers coming on board, and thank you for those subscribers that are emailing us and reaching out to us. We greatly appreciate it. And today we want to share a story of a subscriber. We're not going to say the individual's or the lady's name. It is a lady in question, but we're not going to talk about her name, where she lives, demographics, things like that. We're just going to refer to this lady as Jane, just for the future referencing. So Jane reached out to us pretty much about 24 to 26 hours ago, some stuff like that. So I've got notes to the side of me, so Kara's not here at the moment, so it is just myself. But basically, we're going to talk about the Department for Work and Pensions today, and pretty much how they're run effectively by the government and what stipulations, what rules and regulations they have. But at the same time, also how they're forcing people like Jane to make a difficult choice pretty much this winter of does she heat or does she eat. So Jane was diagnosed with mental health problems about 5-6 years ago. She suffers quite badly. Again, we've all been through at some point in our life, you know. For those of you who are watching this, no, we're not jumping on the mental health bandwagon card, so please don't consider sitting there smashing the dislike button because you get bored of that, hearing it. If it's not the right video for you, we recommend you go watch other videos that's on the internet, because trust me, there's plenty to choose at Christmas. So Jane was diagnosed quite a while back. Progressively become worse to the point where she was made homeless at some point, and I'm afraid that, you know, her mental health got degraded throughout time. She had family issues, friends, partners, relationships, all that kind of thing, you know, completely gone wrong, and it made it worse and worse for her. So back in 2022, Jane applied for the Universal Credit and also Personal Independence Payment, which, if you don't know what PIP or personal independence payment is, it's a payment that's subject availability to people with suffering with long-term health conditions, disabilities that can range from cancer patients to fibromyalgia. You know, there's a whole range pretty much. It's also for those available that are end of life effectively as well. So yeah, she applied for this benefit payment on the grounds that she was entitled to it from the Citizens Advice Bureau, who recommended, you know, look, you've got a lot of mental health problems, medical history, this sort of thing. We recommend that you apply for it. So subsequently, Jane applied for this, and she was declined twice over the last 2 years, basically. Well, yeah, sorry. And she scored zero on everything, which, you know, it is a common theme with the Department for Work and Pensions, especially when it comes to those benefits review assessors. We'll get onto those, don't worry. When she questioned as to why she was scored zero, and they send a report back, you know, back effectively, it came to light that every time that Jane had said something in the report, it was the case of the assessor had lied. They'd wrote down the information either incorrectly, intentionally, or on purpose, and they'd put things that Jane had not even said. You know, this was all in a paper report. She had a telephone assessment, so, you know, there was a bit of an alarm bell started to ring pretty much for Jane, because she did think that, well, I never said this, and I was told that I would get this benefit. Subsequently, Jane left it. You know, she didn't want to fight for it. She felt like she couldn't turn to anybody, and the system had let her down, which is a common, you know, reoccurrence theme, I'm afraid, especially currently in the UK. However, Jane was then approached by a local agency which helped her and said, look, you know, we will help you go through your PIP application process again. We'll give you all the information, the facts. We'll stand by you pretty much. Now, Jane went through that same process again in 2023. She started out, I think it was in May, I believe the email said. To only be told again 2 months later it was a zero. So she'd scored the exact same points that she had last time on all elements. So the daily living element, the mobility element, she scored zero across the board. Again, Jane was very surprised by this, because when she actually had her assessment, this time it was over the phone, but she had her friend with her. Now, a friend was actually working for this particular agency that, would support people. So even a friend was a bit confused as to saying, well why have you scored zero? They went down the what's called mandatory reconsideration part. So effectively, after a month of being told no, and there are reasons behind it, you have to basically go for a reassessment again, which all it means in layman's terms is that there is assessors who claim, and I say claim very strongly there, medically trained, in mental health, cancer, whatever it may be. They claim to be medically professionally trained in this subject area, and they would look at it again and make a decision. They did this, and then within 2 weeks, immediately scored zero again. So as you can probably imagine by this point, Jane's feeling very let down. She's distraught, the system's cheating her in some respect. It's not helping her. But then she's also knowing people that, I'm afraid there are a lot of people out there that do this, that do claim benefits for things they're not entitled to. We are aware of at least 3 people that do that, but again, that's another video, and they're probably watching now, so they'll know who they are. Again, we're not here to call them people. They know what they've done. We're not going to go on YouTube blasting them because that's just a bit boring, really, isn't it? And we're not about that currently anyway. Maybe change later, we'll see. But yeah, so she was literally scored zero again and had to start the process of going to what's called a tribunal, which is a court. Now, every time that Jane applied for this, she was knocked back. She went to the courts, the independent tribunal system, which she got confirmation time and time again. I was reading these bits. Yeah, so she got confirmation that she was going to get, assessed, basically. So out of the blue one day, the Department for Work and Pensions gave her a call and said, we're going to reassess you again over the phone. Have we got all the medical information that you've given us? Jane responded, yes, you've got all the up-to-date information, because they had all the up-to-date information. Now, the woman then said to Jane on the phone, okay, what's going to happen is now, give me 3 or 4 hours, we'll contact you today with a decision. If your decision is yes, we'll give you a payout today. At this point, Jane is amazed because she's over the moon. She's finally thinking, you know what, I finally got what I'm deserved, I'm entitled to. I've struggled for 5 years with mental health and other health conditions. I've battled the Department for Work and Pensions for 2 years, and finally someone's going to help me. So as you can imagine, she's ecstatic to only be told yet again, no. And the reasons behind it, oh guys, you should hear some of these reasons. I'm going to read a few snippets which I've got literally right in front of me now, because you're going to laugh at this, you truly are. So originally Jane applied to say mental health, and other health issues came along later on in life. She also applied for those. So the Department for Work and Pensions turned around and said to Jane, they are aware she has a health condition, they acknowledge she has a health condition, but they don't think this health condition subjects or warrants enough support, if you like, to warrant a payment, as it doesn't affect her daily living or mobility. Let me tell you a little story about Jane. Jane is in a wheelchair. Jane cannot walk more than 20 metres. She requires an aid, be it a family member or a friend. She's also got adaptations around her home, which means that she needs help going to the toilet, she has carers coming in, that sort of thing. She's also afraid to go out in public, without anybody alongside of her, because she gets panic attacks and she gets scared. I've been through that, I know what it's like. Okay? That's all I'd say on that matter. But according to the Department for Work and Pensions and their medically trained professionals, Jane is okay. What's your thoughts on that? Because to me, that doesn't seem to make any sense at all. That was part one. Briefly, back in 2021, Jane actually cared for somebody who unfortunately is no longer with her now. Because of that basis, they also said that Jane was capable of looking after somebody, therefore her mental and cognitive ability, it's a tough word that one, is intact. Therefore, she does not or is not entitled to any benefit payment, because it proves that she's got no impairments. That doesn't sit well with me. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on it, and I know people will be sat there watching this thinking, well, it's tough, she doesn't deserve it, get to work, you lazy bum. You know what, we have them people come watch this channel all the time. The people that watch that, unfortunately, we call them Tory voters, guys, because that's all they are, the Tory scum. And if you're watching it, you are Tory, tough. I said it, that's how I feel. It just proves, though, how far we've come in a society where a department that is set up to help somebody with their problems, be it any mental health conditions or any health condition at all, He's actually turning around and one, lying on assessments, two, saying that she's medically qualified, or sorry, medically assessed, shall I say, to move and do things herself when she's in a wheelchair. Okay, makes sense. But thirdly, they're claiming that these medical assessors that they use are, as the name suggests, medically assessors, or medical assessors rather. But yet they don't offer proof of that. They offer a letter in a report stating that a lady called, or a man called, whatever it may be, is medically trained. But they don't specify what area of that subject that they're trained in. How long have they trained for? Are they NHS approved? Have they worked in the NHS? Or are they a private health insurance company? A lot of questions come to mind, who are these people? We don't see them. As general Joe public, every day, do not see these medically trained assessors. The reason being is they're not medically trained. It's bollocks. Absolute bullshit. There's no such thing. You show me one medically trained assessor, I'll wait. Because believe me, there isn't any. Now, further to Jane's, appeal, if you like, we actually have a friend that works for the Department for Work and Pensions. They're based over in the Manchester area, Stockport, and they occasionally work in Dublin and Liverpool, because a lot of their offices are based in Liverpool. So we're not going to name the person individually because, again, due to GDPR reasons and legal reasons, we cannot do that. And, of course, for fear for their own job. But what we will tell you is about this person. Now, we're going to name him John. Simple J's, straightforward. John has contacted us and claims he does work for the Department for Work and Pensions and has done since 1999. So quite a big stretch John's got there. John spoke to us several times, sent several emails, and told us about the PIP assessment process. Now, what I'm going to tell you right now is probably going to shock you to your core, but not surprise you. The PIP assessors, 2/3, are not medically trained. The ones like John, who is what we call a case manager, makes the final decision. So a case manager will look at all the evidence gathered, be it from a medically trained assessor, the claimant, in this case Jane, and any other health records that are provided by Jane or support workers, care workers, that kind of thing. They'll look at that and make an overall decision. Now, just bear in mind quickly for one thought that these case managers are not medically trained. They don't know the person, they've never seen the person, never spoke to the person. All they're going off is a report which has been made by someone in an office the other side of the country. The assessors are actually paid to fail people. The bonus rate is £80 per 8 failures per day. And then subsequently, the more failures you get per week, per day, increases your take-home pay. So not only is your salary on an average base between 18,000 to 22,000 upwards per year, which back then, John told me that's what the salary was. It's not that salary now, he won't disclose that, but that's fine. But you also get paid to fail people. So these medically trained assessors, which 2/3 are run by companies like Capita or one beginning with A, I forget the name now, they're all dicks, let's be completely honest. They're designed to fail people and get paid. How is that fair? How does that make... If someone said to me, right, you've got to fail somebody who's dying of cancer because we'll pay you £100. Do you know what I would tell them to do with that £100? I'd say shove it up your fucking ass. Because that £100 does not mean anything to me if someone's dying of cancer. If I can give someone for 6 to 8 months, no matter how long they've got left, if I can give them some money, some comfort to help them, heat their houses, feed themselves, make sure they've got a comfortable living before they pass on, I wouldn't want the £100 or the £80. I wouldn't want it. Simple as that. If you're an assessor that you're watching this, how the God's name do you sleep at night? How do you get away with it? You should hang your head in shame. You really should, and you should leave the company and go get a different job somewhere else, because that is, quite frankly, disgusting. Simple as that. It's terrible. It is absolutely... It makes my blood boil. It makes me so angry. It really does. John told me that not only are the assessors paid to fail people, but so are the case managers. And they have team meetings about it, and they sit there and they laugh. They find it funny because they're failing people who has got disability problems. There was a lady in the news recently. I'll try and put a descriptor somewhere. If not, I'll go to Google and type in lady with mobility issues. Okay, first thing that comes up. She actually had a mobility scooter removed from her for 25 years because they said she could walk. She's in a fucking mobility scooter. What is wrong with the Department for Work and Pensions? Can you not see? Do you not have eyes at all that, you know, this lady is struggling? They actually instructed a local company who gave her the mobility scooter to come and collect it and take it back. Luckily, this guy had a bit of a soul and a bit of heart about him, and he actually paid for a brand new one from his own company for her. He said, no, I've known her for years, I'm not letting her do it. So it just proves there are people out there with heart and compassion. But clearly, the Department for Work and Pensions, you've got none. And again, it all stems to the budget, benefit cuts. You know, the government saying, let's take away from these people, they're not going to need it. You know, to me, you're kind of saying, let the disabled or those with health issues just die. Get rid of them, we don't care. They're a dredge on society. Somebody else tried that back in 1939. Look what happened to him. That's all I'm saying. And you'll know what I'm referring to. It's happening right now in the world. Again, political side of it. Look at Israel. Two sides of a different story. It's there, guys. But again, that's another video for another day. We'll go through that. But to me, Jane, bless her, is struggling. She's got next to nothing pretty much. And she's been refused. And John, bless his soul, you know, he hates his job. He really does. He's a very genuine guy. We've spoken to him several times. And I feel for him. And you know what? It all makes sense now. It makes so much sense that how they fail people, how they lie. One final thing from Jane. Jane went to, obviously, a tribunal. She hasn't had a court date effectively yet, guys. But on the letter and information the DWP sent to her and to the courts, and I'll read this because this is going to shock you. It really is. So, the Department for Work and Pensions stated, and I'll try and quote this best that I can because I'm not always great with reading, completely honest, that they have made the decision based on their medically trained assessors, the information provided, and the assessor's judgment is final. They kindly remind the HMTS, which is Her Majesty's Tribunal Service, is now His Majesty's, apologies, which is the courts. We kindly remind them that the final say in law is dealt with by the Department for Work and Pensions, and we object and demand that you overrule this decision and do not go ahead with a tribunal case. What in the actual God's name is going on? What gives the Department for Work and Pensions the right to say that they are above the law of the land? They are not above the law. They are a department set up by the government, a government in which, unfortunately, has got an agenda to destroy the soul and lives of the lowest paid income workers or the lowest income providers of workers in the UK. If you're on benefits and you work, if you're on benefits, it makes no difference. Whatever walk of life you come from, you are classed as a lower paid worker if you earn less than 15 grand a year, pretty much. That's what they class as a low income worker now, which is weird, because personally I think anything from 25 should be low, but okay. You know, you're literally taken constantly, and they're now thinking that they're above the law. But then, does that not make kind of sense? Because look at the whole Rwanda scheme that's gone on with the government at the moment. Again, look at it, guys. You do the maths, you work it out. We're going to stay in touch with Jane. We're going to speak to her throughout the whole process. I hope she gets awarded what she gets. She does deserve it. There are a lot of people out there that do deserve it, and those that don't. I hope to God that one day that people who do watch this back, who may work for the DWP, will realise the mistake they've made and just how much of a dickhead you truly look. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Apologies obviously for the swearing. I did give you a quick disclaimer as well, amongst another part of the disclaimer before we started this video. There was going to be swearing. It's open, it's honest, it's brutal. That's the way I look at it. A lot of you have been agreeing that you do agree with me. And Cara, like I said, she's not here currently. She's a bit busy at the moment, so I thought I'd jump on board and take this chance to discuss it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing and liking. Our channel is very unique. We don't have a set niche. We do videos like this. We do travel. We do holidays. We do vlogs. We do everything. Okay, we're living our life and we're sharing it with you best that we can to our ability. We get stick. We get feedback. Of course, we get feedback. We get a lot of shit from people. It's fine. Carry on. If you have the time to go out your way to abuse us like people have done, previously, that's amazing. Go ahead. Because remember, guys, every view you give of our videos, every click of our website, every click of our YouTube channel, you are pushing our channel further and further and further out. People will see it. People all like it. And you know what? That makes me feel good. It truly does. So on that note, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you to John. Thank you for Jane. Again, fake names, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hope you have a both wonderful Christmas and a New Year. If you want to give me your thoughts down below, guys, drop the comment down below. It is free of charge. Just bear in mind, though, the comments are now all being approved manually. So due to the legalities involved of a few issues the past couple of days, all comments now do get screened and approved manually or disallowed. So if you do see a comment not there after 24 hours, can only apologise. It just means that either myself or YouTube has deemed your comment to be either irrelevant, harassment, or negativity. Yeah, and then that's it. So anyway, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, guys. Here's hoping for a better one in 2024.